After a loss to the Phoenix Suns in the Western Conference Finals, many people had no idea whether Kawhi Leonard would be returning for another season for the Los Angeles Clippers. Well, we just got word that Kawhi Leonard is expected to sign, but with a new deal. Of course, before I get into the content, if you guys could leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, turn on post notifications, also subscribe to my brand new second channel called Specs Live. I'm going to be uploading stream highlights on there, vlogs, and other cool little videos. Anyways, let's get into this. So, out of nowhere yesterday, Adrian Wojnarowski went on his own podcast and said the following: I've got no indication that Kawhi Leonard is interested in doing anything besides re-signing with the Clippers and rehabbing that injury. The way they are proceeding certainly seems like Kawhi Leonard is in mind. We also do have to remember that Kawhi Leonard will be most likely missing the full season next year, or at least a good majority of it. However, though, if the Clippers do make a playoff run and maybe they make the second or third round, there is a chance, I'm not going to predict this or anything, but that Kawhi Leonard possibly maybe come back. I don't know how good he would be because he hasn't played in about a year, but still, if the Clippers are in the running, I think they could use him. Kawhi, who was averaging 30-7 in the NBA playoffs, missed the last 8 games because of the same ACL injury. A lot of people didn't think it was that big of a deal and he was on a day-to-day. Me, I heard rumors that it was like an ACL tear or something like that, so I kind of did suspect that he wouldn't be able to play for a long time, but it turns out I was somewhat right. Something I would like to know is that this is the final year on Kawhi Leonard's contract, so there's a very good chance after the season they will just offer him a max deal. Because when Kawhi Leonard initially signed to the Clippers, it was a 3-year deal. I thought it was like, it's kind of a short-term thing. Him and Paul George was testing, and so far, I think the Clippers really can't be upset because, I mean, yeah, the first year that they had this playoff run, Kawhi Leonard and them did choke a 3-1 lead. The following season, Kawhi did get hurt, and they lost to the Phoenix Suns, who were a very hot team, and everyone kind of expected to make the finals. And this year, we have no idea what is in store. Now, we can all agree on that Kawhi Leonard is worth a max contract, whatever it is. But the question is, does Kawhi really want to stay in LA? And with this report, it does make it seem like Kawhi does want to stay. And the thought that Paul George will be leaving anytime soon is not true, as in December, he signed a max deal, so it seems like we're going to have this duo for a while. I know we all make our pandemic P jokes, we make fun of Paul George, but in reality, when he is hot, he is hot. He's an elite player. And when Kawhi Leonard really isn't never elite, but when they're both playing at their best, the Clippers are a scary team. Reggie Jackson has emerged as a very solid point guard, and I think we all agree that he deserves a contract of some sort from the Clippers. In another article I read, it said the following: Woj went on to say that the Clippers are preparing for the offseason as if Leonard will be coming back in free agency. He didn't specify as to when Leonard's return will be, but the Clippers are operating as a title contender and are pursuing players who fit that goal. There also was no clarity as to what the cap mechanics of Kawhi Leonard's return will be. He can opt out and sign a new 4-year, $176.2 million contract this summer, or a shorter term deal that would allow him to hit free agency within a year, when he'll be eligible for a 5-year max. He can also opt in the final year of his current deal worth $36 million and then extend for 4 years at $181.5 million. Essentially, Kawhi Leonard has a lot of good options financially. I won't lie, going into the Clippers offseason, I really had it as Kawhi Leonard was getting ready to leave or he was going to be requesting a trade, and I'm actually surprised that he's willing to stay, but I think it's good for Kawhi. I see the Clippers being the team that Kawhi Leonard does settle down with, that he stays on for a while and tries to contend with, because they were only a couple games and a Kawhi Leonard injury away from possibly making the NBA Finals, and they had a good shot to beat the Bucks. Now, I could not tell you what moves I believe the Clippers will make besides obviously getting Kawhi Leonard a new deal and possibly signing Reggie Jackson, but I will say, getting Kawhi Leonard locked down was a huge step for the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, I do believe that they will wait after season's over to sign him to a super max, but other than that, I'm excited to see what the Clippers can do during the offseason. Now, I think we all recall the offseason where the Lakers started getting all these players like Danny Green, JaVale McGee, and all those other role players, but I honestly do believe this might be kind of crazy to think that the Clippers could be doing something like this year, because we've seen many things like DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry going to the Lakers. There's even reports that Buddy Hield wants out of Sacramento. If they could get one of these guys or a few of these guys, and I know there's other players I'm not mentioning, but I think you guys know what I'm saying. If they recruit these guys, they could have a really good rotation, and I honestly think the Clippers have a pretty deep rotation as it is, but if you add to it, this team is definitely one of the best teams in the West. Because like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, Kawhi Leonard's going to be missing a majority of the season, so if they can get some depth to help them out, I really think that could help the Clippers make a deep run in the playoffs, even without Kawhi. If I'm being honest, there is a really good chance that if Kawhi Leonard does come back late in the playoffs next year, because that could happen, we have no idea, and they add a little bit to their bench, there's a good chance we can be getting a Los Angeles for Los Angeles Conference Finals. Because I don't think we can lie, I think we all kind of expected an LA versus LA Conference Finals this year, because the Clippers did look very promising, if it wasn't for the Phoenix Suns having the biggest upset of the playoffs this year, we would have had an LA versus LA matchup. And I know it's kind of crazy, but I do see a situation where the Clippers may win. Now, just like for the Lakers every single offseason, they're having a million players that are saying they might be playing for their team, so we have no idea, but I think the Clippers should be in the running for this as well. They have enough cap space where they could make a run at a couple players like a DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry reunion, which I think we would all like to see in LA. With that being said, if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure boys leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, turn on the post notifications. Let me know how shocked you would be if Kawhi Leonard doesn't end up signing with the Clippers. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have an amazing day. Take care. Peace.